Welcome back to Pharma Info with Shubhashish. Today, in continuation to our previous discussion on 2D QACL, today we'll see a few more physical-chemical parameters and all the parameters which are affecting the biological activity and all. Of course, the parameter of a substituents, right? The substituents, while being a part of a particular molecular skeleton, how they are affecting the biological response, right? So that is the main lookout of this 2D QACL, right? So the last time, in my last video, probably you might have gone through this last video, right? There we discussed how this partition coefficient and thereafter this lipophilic substituent constant, right? They are affecting the biological response and all the biological activity and all. There we found so many graphs and all. Sometimes we have seen a linear relationship between the parameters with the biological activity. Sometimes we have seen the relationship is found to be a parabolic one in case of log p value and all, right? We have seen few equations as well in case of lipophilic substituent constant and all, and how this can be determined and all, and with those values how we can come up with a noble compound also. Okay, those things are there. It was discussed in my last meeting, right? Now today we'll bring a few more, right? Few more descriptors or few more parameters or few more physico-chemical properties, right? Which are affecting the biological activity, right? So last time we have seen that it is the hydrophobicity, how it is affecting the biological activity. We have seen that hydrophobicity should not be the sole criteria, okay, which is governing the process of biological activity that we have seen. Only in case of general anesthesia where there is no as such, no interaction is required. So that is why we can say that, okay, and moreover we don't require any kind of intrinsic activity. So there we found, okay, chalo, hydrophobicity was found to be one of the determinant, right, with which we can at least evaluate or with which we can at least say, okay, chalo, whether the anesthetic is found to be a good one or a weak one or a moderately good one, right? Moderate one, right? So now let us deal with today. Let us bring another properties which are affecting the biological activity. That means the property with which at least we can say whether the drug can readily penetrate the cell membrane or not, whether they can interact within the active site in a significant manner or not. That is nothing but electronic properties, right? So today's discussion is found to be the electronic properties or electronic parameters, right? Or electronic influence, what we can say. So electronic parameters. And here under this we'll see about one parameter or descriptor that is called Hammett substituent constant. Hammett substituent constant, right? Constant. Okay, so how it can be represented symbolically? The symbol which is used for this is found to be sigma, right? I'll come to the equation and all, right? So just now I told that certain properties are there with which a particular drug, okay, with that property at least we can say, at least we can determine, okay, chalo, the ease at which it can, whether it will get hindered at that area where the cell membrane is there, or whether the interaction will not be, whether the interaction will be good or bad, okay. So with this electronic property at least we can say this is the parameter which has to be taken into account. Why? Because with this parameter we can readily say, okay, chalo, the drug can access the cell membrane in a proper manner, okay, or it's in a proper manner, what we can say, or we can say while being deposited within the active site or while being reached the active site, okay, within the active site, whether it will interact in a proper manner or not, right? Manner or not. So this is the electronic properties which determines whether the drug will interact with the active site residues in a suitable manner or not, right? Because if a drug is found to be electronically rich, what does it mean? It can readily form, it can readily participate or contribute hydrophilically. That means there are several interactions like your dipole-dipole interactions, then induced dipole interactions, then ionic interactions. So all these interactions, for that particular interaction to develop, okay, the drug or the receptor should have hydrophilic feature in it, right? If it is hydrophilic feature, that means it is electronically rich feature, right? Okay, that means which are exchangeable, the electrons which are exchangeable, and finally subsequently there is a formation of an interaction and all, right? Okay, now so Hammett substituent constant, okay, it's a measure of, so sigma, it is a measure of what? The electronic property, or we can say the electron withdrawing and electron donating substituents, how they are affecting the biological activity. Okay, it measures the what? It measures the ability of an electron withdrawing group or an electron donating group, okay, ability to alter the biological activity. Okay, how an electron withdrawing group or an electron donating group can affect the biological activity, can influence the biological activity, right? Okay, so here we are measuring what the ability of that particular electron withdrawing group or donating group to, in order to alter the biological activity. We are just measuring their ability and all, right? Okay, are they really able, okay, are they really able to alter the biological activity or not? Because both the electron withdrawing effect at the same time electron donating effect, these are nothing but the electronic properties, right? Okay, let's see that how the equation will appear, right? Okay, how the equation will appear. So if we just try to figure out sigma, the sigma can be determined with the help of an equation. What is that? The equation says that sigma equals to log kx by kh. How this can be determined? So k means probably an equilibrium constant. So here basically it's a dissociation constant, right? I'll come to it. What exactly happening and all, right? So dissociation constant of what? Here also they are monitoring two different reactions. The common thing between these reactions is the hydrolysis of what? The hydrolysis of benzoic acid or an aromatic acid in presence of water, right? That means Kh stands for the dissociation constant of unsubstituted benzoic acid, that is the standard here. So it is the standard's dissociation constant. Here the standard we are taking is benzoic acid, okay, and Kx means x, it indicates the substitution, that means substituted benzoic acid. So here Kx is the dissociation constant of substituted benzoic acid. Okay, now so here, so what are the different types, what kind of substituents that we can bring out here? That means we need to monitor whether how this substituent is influencing. That means, as I said at the initial stage, what I said, that the ability of that particular substituent, the substituents are mostly either electron withdrawing group or electron donating group. Okay, the common thing is electron, it can donate or it can be withdrawn, right? These two things can be happen, right? Okay, that means the ability to affect the dissociation here, for the reaction to go to affect the dissociation, right? Which in turn can be correlated with the biological activity. So dissociation constant of substituted. So what kind of substitution that are likely to be brought here? Okay, the substitutions are, or the substituent which are likely to be involved here, either electron withdrawing or electron donating. Okay, electron donating. Chalo. So under electron withdrawing groups, we know that there are several electron withdrawing groups are there, like your nitro or the halogens, right? Okay. Now coming to this electron donating groups here, like your methyl, then ethyl. These are the electron donating groups, right? Now we have to place them. Why? Because we have to place them at different locations of benzoic acid, right? We have to place them at different locations of benzoic acid. Now let us see. Okay, let's begin with this dissociation and all, right? Let's begin with the reaction and all, right? First, let us just figure out the dissociation of benzoic acid in presence of water. This is benzoic acid. Suppose in presence of water, what will happen? An equilibrium should be there, right? Okay. Benzoic acid is an aromatic acid, so definitely the dissociation constant is found to be, what we can get out of this dissociation constant. So here the Ka is found to be large, which means pK is found to be small. Same thing, it should be large, so that it should be less. Now the thing is that this is happening in case of HCl, H2SO4 strong acid, but this is not happening in case of a weak acid. So here the Ka value is found to be very small. Right? So Ka value for this aromatic acid is found to be very small, right? So That means here we can expect partial dissociation. It will not get completely dissociated. Why? Because it's not a weak acid. So acid strength is found to be very less for benzoic acid. So that is why what are the products that we can get? The forward reaction yields what? This is the outcome of forward reaction, right? This is the principal thing, right? Okay. Now the thing is that, so with that we are done with what? The standard. Okay. This is the way the standard is getting dissociated. Now we have to see when we are going to substitute the standard, what is the effect of that substituent on the dissociation. Okay, let's see. So first let's do one thing. To this benzoic acid, let us choose this area. That is the para area, right? The para area. So here we are just going to incorporate what? An electron withdrawing group as nitro. So what will happen? Can we expect faster dissociation? Whether the rate will be faster or slower than that of the standard? What will happen? So as I have put a nitro group at para position of this benzoic acid, what will happen? This nitro group as an electron withdrawing group, this will try to pull the electron to this direction, making the dissociation of this acid faster. The moment it will sense the pulling effect from this end, what will happen? This will readily get expelled out. Which one? The H in the form of H plus will get readily expelled out, right? So making the reaction more towards the forward, right direction than the rest, right? So so the product, the intermediate, is found to be something like this. We are least concerned about the intermediate. We are concerned about what? Whether it is faster or slower. So here we can get a larger K value. That means here the dissociation constant is found to be the dissociation constant is found to be what? So that means as it is found to be a faster dissociation, that means as the rate is found to be faster. So that means here it is found to be a strong one. So definitely the K value should be large. The K large, earlier in this case K value is small. K value is found to be small. That means here the rate was not that much faster as that of this. Why? Because there was no such effect. At any point of this particular benzoic acid, there was no such effect, right? Okay. Now, that we are done with what? With that we are done with the effect of electron withdrawing group over the dissociation of benzoic acid, right? Now, let us, whatever data that we have collected, okay, out of these reactions and all, right? Let us just plug those data in to the equation of sigma, because we have to measure the value of sigma, right? So sigma equals to log Kx by Kh, right? Okay. So what we observed, Kx means substituted. That means it is the electron withdrawing group at para position, how it is affecting the dissociation of benzoic acid, whether it was faster or slower. So here the value will be greater. So here you can get greater value, right, than that of unsubstituted. Why greater value? Because here the dissociation is found to be faster. Why? Because the pulling effect was there. The pulling effect by this nitro group was there, and that is why it makes the dissociation faster. So that is why you can get a greater value here compared to this. So this is found to be a smaller one. So which eventually leads to a positive sigma value. A positive sigma value. Now the opposite thing you can find when the substituent is found to be an electron donating group. What will happen? Suppose let us take anything like methyl, right? Let us take methyl, okay. So what will happen to the dissociation of benzoic acid? Because here the prototypical reaction is found to be the dissociation of benzoic acid. We are just monitoring the dissociation of benzoic acid and we are just comparing it against the substituted benzoic acid. How it is getting dissociated, whether it is faster than that of the unsubstituted one or it is slower than that of the unsubstituted one, right? Chalo. So now if I just introduce, suppose methyl being an electron donating group, what this will do? Suppose while being placed at para position of benzoic acid, what this will do? Now it is trying to donate the electron, okay, to this direction, thereby making this area, because this is the area from where the hydrogen has to leave, right? If all on a sudden, if this particular area is found to be largely populated with electrons as a result of this donation, what will happen? This will not ready to be expelled. This will not readily get expelled. Why? Because electron density is more. There is no deficiency as such. There is no deficiency as such in this region. Okay, so it will not get that much. What we can say. It will not get the urgency. Okay, it will not get the urgency to release the H plus, and that is why the H will stay there. Okay, which makes the dissociation slower than that of the benzoic acid. As this is the area which is found to be largely populated with what? Electrons. So that is why hydrogen will not get readily expelled out. If the hydrogen will not get readily expelled out, that means it is not dissociated in a faster manner, right? So it has been observed that the effect of this electron donating group towards the dissociation is found to be makes the dissociation slower than that of the unsubstituted one. So here, if we just plug in the value here, what we can get? Sigma equals to log Kx. So the value of Kx, when it is found to be electron donating group, it is found to be smaller. So here it is found to be smaller, right? And what about the Kh unsubstituted? Here it is found to be the greater. So here there is a chance that you may end up to a negative sigma value. So this is the effect of what? Electron donating group and the electron withdrawing group over the dissociation of what? Benzoic acid, right? Now, one question is there. In both the examples, I have brought what? In one case, I have brought electron withdrawing group. In the other case, I brought an electron donating group, right? And we have seen that how the dissociation will get affected, right? Okay. The ability of this particular two groups over the dissociation process that we have seen. But in both the cases, I have placed the substituent irrespective of their electronic nature at para position only. But let me tell you one thing. Sigma, it basically takes into account two things. One is found to be resonance, the other one is found to be inductive effect. Induction. These two are very important things because it is the sigma, that is the Hammett substituent constant, which takes into account two things. One is found to be resonance, the other one is found to be induction or inductive effect, right? So that means what will happen? Suppose we have got a value of 0.72 when the methyl is found to be here. The moment I am just displacing the methyl from here to here, that means earlier it was at para position, now it has been shifted to meta position. Can we get the same value? Yes or no? No. Why? Because both the effects are there. We need to see which effect is dominating. Are they same? Are they found to be equivalent or not? If they are not found to be equivalent, that means one is dominating other. One is dominating over other. Okay. So that means as sigma takes into account two basic things, that is resonance as well as the induction. And let me tell you one thing, sigma can be determined for those compounds which are having aromatic ring in them. Otherwise, for the non-aromatic compounds, it cannot predict the substituent contribution. The substituent which are found to be electronically rich, it cannot predict. Why? Because the substituent is the part and parcel of an aliphatic compound. Until and unless the substituent is not being a part of an aromatic system or aromatic ring, sigma cannot be determined. Why? Because it includes two things. One is resonance, the other one is induction. Okay, you may raise a question that, okay, resonance, whether we cannot find resonance in case of a linear structure which is found to be an aliphatic, yes, chances are found to be very less. In case of aromatic system, it should be there. In case of aliphatic system, it may or may not be there. Why? Because we have an aliphatic system that can be sp3 hybridized. We have an aliphatic system that can be sp2 hybridized. We have an aliphatic system that can be sp hybridized. Right? In this case, is it really possible to get resonance? No. So that is why if a particular chain is comprised of sp3 hybridized carbon or anything, right, sigma cannot be determined. The contribution of a substituent which is found to be electronically rich or poor cannot be predicted. The contribution cannot be predicted with the help of sigma. Or this is the limitation, biggest limitation. The another limitation is what? I'll come to it later. Why? Because let me just talk about this. Okay, what will happen? So just now what we have seen, as it includes both the things resonance and induction, so there may be a chance that the effect of substituent, the similar substituent at different locations are found to be different. So that means the value will get different. We'll just bring one example. Okay, is it really correct or not? Okay, let us bring the example of this nitro group, right? Let us just place it at meta position of benzoic acid as well as para position. Okay, so suppose ki let us just do one thing. So this is found to be the benzoic acid. Okay, benzoic acid, standard one, and we have to take the substituted one. So the substituent which we are going to take is what? Nitro. Chalo, we'll just make it nitro. Right? We have to put on positive charge, and here we have to put one negative charge. Right? Okay, chalo. Now where exactly it is placed? It is placed at para position. It is placed at para position, right? When it is placed at para position, the sigma value is found to be 0.78. Similarly, when the same nitro has been shifted from here to here, suppose ki now the whole system came here. When it's not dinitro. The same nitro while being displaced, while being pushed to the next carbon, now it has come here. There is no more nitro here, no more nitro here, rather the nitro came here. In that case, what they observed that the experimentally determined sigma value for this meta-nitrobenzoic acid was found to be, so here it is sigma para, here it is sigma meta is found to be 0.72. That means there is a difference. Why there is a difference? When the nitro is found to be at meta position, it is the electron withdrawing effect. It is the electron withdrawing character that is found to be predominant. That means here the induction is found to be one of the predominant criteria or predominant thing that is existing. It is only the inductive effect. Out of that only we have got a value of 0.72. The moment nitro came here, it is the inductive as well as resonance. Both are acting. Both are acting. Got my point? So here earlier it was only inductive effect. That means the predominant one was found to be inductive effect. Now as the moment we shifted the nitro from here to here, what happens? Suddenly it will undergo what? Resonance. Resonance as well as inductive. So as a whole we have got the value raises to 0.78. 0.78. Suppose ki, why I am telling these things? Resonance here also is possible, but that is not found to be that much dominant as that of this, right? Okay. So what will happen if we just try to figure out the different resonating form of this nitro, how it will be? It will appear something like this. Right? This is the thing. So what will happen initially? Definitely this will try to come here. This will try to come here to replenish the charge. Chalo. So this will come here, something like this, right? So as a result of it, what will happen? Here we can get a positive charge. Here we can get a positive charge. Okay, chalo. So now the positive charge, now what will happen? This pi electron will come here, okay, to replenish the deficiency, right? So here now we have got another form, another resonating form where plus positive charge is here, right? Now what will happen? This will come here. As a result of it, there is a positive charge that will grow here, right? So this is that means we can represent this particular nitro or para-nitrobenzoic acid in so many resonating form. At the same time, here the inductive effect is also there. So that means as both the things are acting here, that means both resonance as well as inductive. That means F for induction, right? Inductive effect. At the same time, resonance. Both are acting. So that is why you have got a value which is higher than that of the meta-nitrobenzoic acid. So with that we are done with the explanation, okay? That means it's not only the pattern but also the position which also matters, okay? The next thing, the next question which is likely to be raised, that is, okay, you have shown an example where the nitro is found to be placed at either para position or meta position, but why not ortho position? Why not ortho? No, this is another limitation. Now let me just deal with that limitation. The other limitation, the first one is sigma can only be predicted for those substituents which are found to be a part and parcel of an aromatic system. right? The second limitation, Hammett substituent constant cannot be measured for those substituents which are ortho to each other, which are placed at ortho positions. So it is the ortho substituted benzoic acid which cannot be predicted with the sigma value. This is the limitation. Why? Now the question raised, another question raised, why? Why? Because here, suppose I am putting a substituent here. It may be an electronically rich substituent, it may be an electronically poor substituent. It may have an electron withdrawing influence, it may have an electron donating influence, right? Okay. Now the thing is that what will happen? So the moment I am putting it here, okay, though it can show some kind of, though it can influence the process electronically, but as it is having some kind of volume as well as shape, out of this particular physical property, what will happen? This will be a problematic to that particular process. Why? Because this will create a problem towards the dissociation. Why? Because out of its steric property, it will just develop a steric hindrance towards the dissociation. That means the dissociation has to be undergone in presence of water. Water here is acting as a nucleophile, right? Poor nucleophile. It has to access the carbonyl carbon. No, it has to access this carboxylic group. No, otherwise things will not be being taken place, right? So that means as it is influencing both electronically as well as sterically, so that is why both the things come into play. Both the influences come into play, and that is why we cannot get the accurate sigma value when the substituent is placed at ortho position. So this is another limitation. So with that, we are done with what? We are done with the sigma, that is Hammett substituent constant. Why it is important? Because it is the electronic feature, electronic properties through which we can at least predict that how easily a particular compound can get penetrated across the membrane, or once it reaches the active site, how efficiently it has interacted with their corresponding residues and all. That these two things can be predicted with this. We cannot say that it is the electronic property that is found to be the only criteria with which a drug can show its response and all, right? It's not like that. But these are the two important things which can be predicted, which you can get out of this electronic feature of a particular molecule. So that means one is found to be how easily it can access the membrane, and once it reaches the active site, how efficiently, whether it is interacting with the residues in an efficient manner or in a poorest manner, that can be readily judged with the value which is obtained through Hammett substituent constant. Okay, I think that you have understood the fact and file which is there in Hammett constant. Is one of the important parameter which is quite often been brought in making or in framing the Hans equation. So with that, I am done with this electronic properties. Let me just tell you that for this QSA chapter or QSA topic, you can refer a book that is written by Graham L. Patrick, Medicinal Chemistry only. Okay, nicely given, nicely explanation. The explanation was very nice. Okay, and all. And I have given the link through which you can download the electronic version of that book, right? In my last video, it is there with that video only. You can get it in YouTube, right? The video along with my video, it is given. The link I have given. I have attached the link in that particular video. And so with that, I am done with this discussion, with this part, that is electronic parameters. And in future, I'm planning to come up with a few more descriptors and all. And if you really like my video, please don't forget to press the like button, and please do subscribe my channel. One more thing, please put your valuable comments, right? Valuable comments. Your comments are very much important for me. Thank you for your patience hearing. Thank you.